In Love with My Bodyguard. This is a full story audio for romance story fans only. It is based on real life event. If you don't have enough time, save it to listen to it later. Subscribe to never miss any story and check our library for more story like this. Tell me in comment where you listening from. Let us start our story. The car smelled like leather and something else, something clean, something that didn't belong to her. Serena Moretti sat in the back seat, right side, because the left side was for her father when he bothered to ride with her. He never did anymore. The partition window was down today. She couldn't remember if she'd asked for it or if he'd forgotten to raise it. Either way, she could see the back of his head. Dark hair, close cut, a neck that never turned around. She'd tried, you know. She'd actually tried. Do you think it will rain? Nothing. Have you worked for my family long? Nothing. What's your name? That one got her a single word. Elias. Then nothing else for 3 weeks. She wasn't offended anymore. She'd learned something about this man's silence. It wasn't rudeness. It was a wall. And walls made her curious. The late afternoon sun cut through the trees lining the private driveway. Golden light, the kind that makes everything look soft, even iron gates, even things that shouldn't look soft. She watched his hands on the steering wheel. Steady. 10 and 2. No wedding ring, no scars she could see, just hands that had done things she would never know about. She opened her mouth before she decided to. Do you ever want to just keep driving? Soft. Almost to herself. The kind of question you ask the dark when you think no one's listening. Silence. She expected it. He gave her nothing. No glance in the mirror. No shift in his shoulders. His hands stayed steady. His eyes stayed on the road. She looked out the window. The trees blurred. Didn't think so, she said. The car drove on. The phone buzzed against her thigh like a wasp. She didn't want to look, but not looking was worse. Not looking meant she didn't know, and not knowing was a luxury she had never been given. She pulled it out. The screen said, Father. She waited one breath. 2. Then she answered, Yes? His voice was flat, not angry, not kind, just certain. The voice of a man who had never been told no. The DeLuca family is coming for dinner tonight. She said nothing. You will be polite. You will wear the blue dress, the one your mother bought for you. Her mother had been dead for 12 years. The dress still hung in her closet with the tags on. The wedding is in 8 weeks, Serena. The DeLucas will not wait. This is your future. She closed her eyes. Yes, Father. He hung up. No goodbye. He had never said goodbye. Goodbye implied there might not be a next time. Vincent Moretti did not believe in uncertainty. She lowered the phone, stared at the screen until it went dark. 8 weeks. 56 days. In the front seat, Elias gave nothing. His hands did not tighten. His jaw did not move. He drove like she wasn't there. She wondered if he'd heard. She wondered if he cared. She put the phone away. The highway opened in front of them. Gray asphalt. White lines. Endless. She thought about the question she'd asked him a minute ago. Do you ever want to just keep driving? She wanted to ask it again. She didn't. The estate appeared at the end of the long driveway like a promise made of stone and money. 4 stories. Wrought iron gates that closed automatically behind the car. Gardens that cost 3 gardeners and, I'm not making this up, a kidnapped horticulturist from some French chateau her father had visited once. Fountains that never stopped running, because stopping meant something was broken. And nothing in this house was allowed to be broken, except the people inside it. Elias pulled to the front entrance, got out, opened her door, did not offer his hand. She stepped out. Gravel crunched under her heels. Thank you, Elias? He nodded once, got back in the car, drove toward the garage without looking back. She watched the taillights disappear. Then she turned and walked into the house. The DeLuca family was already there. She saw them through the archway. Her father stood by the fireplace, glass of whiskey in hand, laughing at something the DeLuca patriarch had said. Vincent Moretti did not laugh often. When he did, it was never because something was funny. It was because something was going according to plan. Marco stood near the window, already too loud. Enzo stood behind him, quiet, watching. And then there was Elena, the DeLuca mother. Serena had met her once before, years ago. She remembered Elena's hands, thin, veins visible under pale skin, a diamond ring that looked heavier than her whole arm. Elena sat on the silk couch like a doll propped against a wall. Her dress was expensive. Her hair was perfect. Her eyes were empty. Serena stepped into the room. Ah, Vincent said. There she is, the bride-to-be. The DeLuca son turned. He was handsome. Dark hair, sharp jaw. He looked at Serena the way a man looks at a car he's thinking of buying, interested, but not invested. He smiled. She smiled back. The perfect daughter smile, the one she'd practiced in the mirror since she was 14 years old. Lovely to see you again, she said. You look even better than I remembered, he said. She said nothing to that. There was nothing to say. Dinner was announced. 7 courses. Silverware that had belonged to her grandmother. Crystal glasses that caught the candlelight and threw it against the walls like tiny fires. Serena ate. She smiled. She nodded. She said, yes, of course, and how interesting, and I couldn't agree more, so many times that the words stopped meaning anything. 56 days. And then she looked at Elena. The DeLuca mother sat across the table, picking at a piece of fish she had not taken a single bite of. Her husband did not look at her. Her son did not look at her. She was surrounded by family, and completely alone. Elena looked up. Their eyes met. And then Elena did something strange, something small. She looked down at her own wedding ring. The diamond caught the candlelight. Then she looked back at Serena, and under the table, hidden from everyone else, Elena slipped the ring off her finger, held it in her palm, showed Serena the bare skin where the ring had been for 40 years. Then she put it back on. No words, no headshake, just the ring, on, off, on. Serena understood immediately. I was you, now I am this. Run. Something cold moved through her chest. That will be me in 30 years. She put down her fork. Excuse me, she said. I need a moment. She did not wait for permission. The kitchen was empty, dark. The moon through the window was enough. She knew this path by heart. The side door, the short hallway, the concrete floor that always felt cold, even in summer. The garage, the smell of motor oil and cold metal hit her face. Not pleasant, but real. Everything else in her life was polished and perfumed and pretending. She walked to the wooden bench against the far wall, the one the mechanics used on brakes. She had sat here before. Never for long. Always afraid someone would find her. Tonight, she sat down, put her face in her hands, and cried. Not the way she had cried as a child, loud, heaving, asking for comfort that never came. The way she had learned to cry as an adult, silent, shoulders shaking, mouth closed tight so no one would hear. She didn't know how long she sat there. Then she heard footsteps. She looked up. Elias stood in the garage doorway. He was not looking at her. He was looking at the car, like he just walked in to check something. Routine. Professional. But he had stopped walking. He stood in the threshold, 1 foot inside, 1 foot out. She wiped her face quickly, turned away, pretended she was fixing her hair. Sorry, she said. I just needed. She didn't finish. He did not say, are you okay? He did not offer a handkerchief. He did not step closer. But something moved behind his eyes. Something she couldn't name. She looks like I felt at 12 years old, he thought. The night my father died. He did not say it. He would never say it. Instead, he turned his back to her, faced the door, and pushed it fully open, not closed. Open. Then he stood there, his back to her, his body between her and the rest of the house, guarding, but not crowding, seeing, but not looking. She understood. You are not alone, but I will not make you speak. She stopped crying. The silence stretched, not uncomfortable, just present. Finally, she said, thank you. He nodded once, still facing the door. As she stood up, walked toward him, he did not move. She stopped at his side, close enough to see the small scar on his jaw, close enough to smell whatever that clean scent was. Something like pine, something like rain. You didn't have to stay, she said. He said nothing. But you did. He said nothing. She walked past him, back through the side door, back through the kitchen, back toward the dinner she did not want to finish. Behind her, she heard the garage door close. She did not look back, but she wanted to. When she returned to the dining room, the coffee had been served. Small cups, dark liquid, bitter. She sat down, picked up her cup, did not drink. Marco's eyes found her immediately. He had been waiting. Serena, he said, too loud. Were you crying? The table went quiet. She looked at him, her oldest brother, 30 years old, already going soft in the jaw from too much wine and too little resistance. I had something in my eye, she said, and so Marco smiled. It was not a kind smile. Emotional again, he said, turning to the table. Father, she's too soft for the DeLuca family. Maybe we should trade her for a better model. Laughter. The DeLuca son smirked. The DeLuca father looked amused. Even Marco's wife laughed, because laughing was safer than silence. Serena looked at her father. Vincent Moretti sat at the head of the table. His whiskey glass was empty. His eyes moved from her to Marco to his coffee. He said nothing, not a word in her defense, not a glance that said enough. He simply said, "Marco, speak to your brother about the docks tomorrow." The subject was closed. Her pain was dismissed. The dinner continued. Serena looked down at her coffee. She had always known. She had just never said it before. No one here loves me. They value me. There is a difference. She remembered being 7 years old. Her mother had just died. She had walked to her father's office, climbed onto his lap, put her head on his chest. He had sat there for 3 seconds. Then he lifted her off, set her on the floor. "Not now, Serena. I'm working." He had not touched her since. She looked up. Across the table, Enzo was watching her. His jaw was tight. His hands were still. He did not speak. But as the dinner ended and guests began to rise, Enzo caught her in the hallway. No one else saw. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small chocolate, the kind she had loved as a child. Wrapped in gold foil, he put it in her hand, squeezed her fingers once. "I watched her die," he thought. "My mother. I did nothing. I won't watch you die too." Then he walked away without a word. She looked at the chocolate, then at his back as he disappeared down the hall. "He sees me too," she thought, "but he won't act." Not yet. She put the chocolate in her pocket. That night, Serena lay in her bed and stared at the ceiling. Then she got up, walked to her bedroom door, pushed it open. Not closed, open. She sat on the floor in the doorway, looking out into the dark hallway, the open door behind her, the open door in front of her. "He left the garage door open for me," she thought, "so I wouldn't be alone in the dark." She left her bedroom door open. She did not leave the room, not tonight, but the door stayed open. Somewhere in the garage, a man sat in a black SUV. Engine off, lights off. His shift had ended an hour ago, but he sat in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, staring through the windshield at nothing. He thought about a girl who had asked him if he ever wanted to just keep driving. He thought about the way she had said thank you like it cost her something. He thought about the word future and the way her voice had dropped when her father said it. 56 days, he thought. Then he caught himself, wondered why he had counted. He told himself it was nothing. He started the car and drove home. 3 days after the engagement dinner, Serena left a book in the back seat. She told herself it was an accident. It was not. The book was old, worn spine. The cover showed a man and a woman embracing in the rain, their clothes dark with water, their faces pressed together like they were trying to become one person. The ocean between us. She had read it 4 times. She knew every page. She knew which sentences made her chest ache. She placed it on the leather seat. Open. Face up. As if she had been reading and simply forgotten. Then she stepped out of the car at her father's charity meeting and did not look back. Elias watched her walk away. He waited until the estate doors closed behind her. Then he turned in his seat and looked at the back of the car. Routine. Check for belongings, check for threats, check for anything left behind that could be used against the family. He saw the book. He picked it up. The cover was soft from handling. The pages were yellowed. He read the title, then the back cover. Something about a woman who married the wrong man and a sailor who waited for her for 12 years. He told himself he was checking for listening devices. A book was a good place to hide a bug. He opened it, flipped through the pages. No device, no markings, just words. He put the book on the passenger seat. He would return it tomorrow. The book sat on the passenger seat for 3 days. Day 1, he did not touch it. He drove. He watched the mirrors. He did his job. The book was a thing, nothing more. Day 2, he picked it up while waiting for Serena to finish a luncheon. He opened to a random page. He read 1 sentence. He had not known he was lonely until he saw her standing in the rain. He closed the book, put it back on the passenger seat, told himself he had been bored. Day 3, Serena climbed into the back seat. She looked around. She smiled. "Did you see my book?" He reached into the door pocket, handed it back. Did not meet her eyes. She took it, held it, turned it over in her hands. Then she looked at the spine. "The spine is cracked," she said. "Someone opened it." He said nothing. "Did you read any of it?" "No," she laughed. Soft, genuine. He had never heard her laugh like that. It was not the perfect daughter laugh. It was something else, something real. The spine doesn't crack itself, Elias. It was in the way. In the way of what? He said nothing. She laughed again, quieter this time. She tucked the book in her bag, but she was still smiling when she looked out the window. He watched her in the rearview mirror. Just for a second. Then he looked back at the road. The cracked spine of a romance novel was not a thing that could matter. He told himself that. 1 week later, the highway was empty and the rain would not stop. Serena sat in the back seat, a new book in her lap. She was not reading. She was watching the back of Elias's head, the way his neck met his shoulders, the way he checked the mirrors every few seconds. She had started noticing things about him, the small scar on his jaw, the way he never drank coffee, the way he opened her door without being asked. She told herself it was curiosity, nothing more. Then the headlights appeared behind them. Fast, too fast. Elias's hands tightened on the wheel. Just a fraction. She saw it. Elias? He did not answer. His eyes moved from the rearview mirror to the side mirror, back to the rearview. The car behind them was a black sedan, no headlights, close enough now that she could see the grille. Elias? Don't move. The sedan rammed them. The impact threw her forward. Her book flew from her lap. Her head almost hit the back of his seat. The seatbelt caught her hard across the chest. Elias did not swerve. He accelerated. The sedan pulled alongside. The window rolled down. She saw the gun. Get down! His voice was not the voice she knew. Louder, sharper, sharper. A command. Then his hand was on her arm. His grip was iron. He pulled her over the center console, into the front passenger seat. Her knee hit the dashboard. Hard. Pain shot through her leg. She did not have time to feel it. The shots came. 3, 4. The rear window shattered. Glass sprayed over the back seat. Over her. Over him. Then his body was on top of hers, one arm around her head, his hand pressed against her hair, his chest against her back, his weight pinning her to the seat. She could not see, she could not move, she could only feel. His heartbeat. Fast, steady, not scared, focused. He drove one-handed. The wheel jerked. The sedan swerved. He floored the accelerator. The SUV screamed forward. 3 minutes, maybe 4. Then the sedan was gone. The rain filled the silence. He pulled into a gas station, killed the engine. He did not move. He was still half covering her. His face was near her ear. She could feel his breath. Then he let go, moved back to his seat. His hands were steady. His face was stone. Are you hurt? He asked. My knee. Her voice was small. She hated how small it was. He looked at her knee, blood already running down her shin. He reached into the glove compartment, pulled out a small first aid kit. He did not ask permission. He took her leg gently, turned it, cleaned the cut with antiseptic. She hissed through her teeth. Sorry, he said. It was the first time he had ever apologized to her. He wrapped the gauze around her knee. His hands were steady, gentle, the same hands that had gripped the wheel through gunfire. You're bleeding, she said. She had not noticed until now a cut on his forearm. Glass, small. He had not mentioned it. It's nothing. He finished wrapping her knee. He did not let go immediately. His hand rested on her shin for a second longer than necessary, then he pulled away. They sat in the silence. Silence. Rain on the roof. Smell of gasoline. You saved my life, she said. It's my job. You covered me. It's my job. She looked at him. He looked at the road. It's normal to be scared, he said. Quiet. Almost a whisper. Are you scared? He said nothing. But his hand, his right hand, rested on the seat between them, not touching her. Close. She could feel the warmth of it. She did not move her hand toward his, but she wanted to. That night, Serena could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the gun, the dark window, the flash of the muzzle. She got dressed, did not turn on the light, walked through the dark hallways, past her father's closed door, past Marco's suite where laughter and glasses clinked, the side door, the short hallway, the concrete floor. The garage door was open. Light spilled out. She stopped at the threshold. Elias was inside. His back was to her, cleaning the car, vacuuming glass from the back seat. His shirt was off. She saw his back, scars, old ones, white lines across his shoulders, a dark circle near his left shoulder blade, a bullet, old, healed. But the skin was wrong. She stood in the doorway, did not enter. You shouldn't be here, he said. He did not turn around. I couldn't sleep. Go back to bed. I keep seeing the gun. He stopped cleaning, turned around. His face was unreadable. The scars on his chest matched the ones on his back. His body was a map of pain she would never understand. It will fade, he said. The images, they fade. Does it ever go away? He looked at her for a long moment. No, he said, but it gets quieter. She nodded. She was still standing in the doorway. She was not shaking anymore. You saved my book, she said. He frowned. The romance novel. It was on the floor of the car. You put it on the seat. I saw it. He said nothing. You touched it. You put it somewhere safe. He picked up the vacuum, continued cleaning. She stayed in the doorway, watched him. After a minute, she said, "Good night, Elias." He said nothing. She walked away. Elias sat in the driver's seat after she left. The vacuum was off. The garage was silent. The car was clean. There was nothing left to do. He stared at the windshield. His own reflection looked back at him. He did not recognize the expression on his face. He thought about her voice. You put it somewhere safe. That night, he dreamed of her. She was standing in a field. Tall grass, sunlight, a white dress, not the blue dress, something simpler. She was waving at him. Her hand moved slowly, like she was pushing through water. He tried to walk toward her. His feet would not move. The grass held him. She kept waving. He could not reach her. He woke up. The ceiling of his small apartment was gray. The walls were thin. A neighbor was coughing somewhere. He lay in the dark. His chest felt tight. He was angry. At himself. At the dream. At the way her face stayed in his mind when he closed his eyes. He had spent 20 years building walls. He had told himself that feeling nothing was the only way to survive. She had not touched the walls. She had simply stood on the other side and waved. He got out of bed. He did not sleep again. 2 weeks passed. Serena was quieter. Her father noticed. Vincent Moretti noticed everything. She sat at dinner without speaking, picked at her food. When the DeLuca name was mentioned, her eyes went somewhere else. Somewhere no one could follow. Vincent watched her over his whiskey glass. Then he called Marco to his office. The office was dark wood and old money, a decanter of whiskey on the desk. His wife's empty chair in the corner. He had not moved it in 12 years. Your sister is different, Vincent said. Watch her. Find out why. Marco smiled. She's always been soft. This is different. Do it. Marco watched for 5 days. He did not rush. Cruelty was better when it was certain. Day 1, he sat in the garden. Serena walked to the car. She looked at the driver, longer than necessary. Marco noted it. Day 2, Elias opened her door. Serena said, "Thank you." Her voice was softer than Marco had ever heard her use with anyone. Not the perfect daughter voice, something else. Marco noted it. Day 3, Serena left the car. Elias watched her walk away, just for a second. Then he looked back at the road. Marco saw. He noted it. Day 4, Marco approached Elias in the garage. Small talk. He asked, "What time does my sister have her charity meeting tomorrow?" Elias answered without looking at a schedule. He knew it by heart. Marco smiled. He noted it. Day 5. Marco followed Serena at night, watched her walk to the garage, watched her stand in the doorway, watched her watch Elias clean the car, watched her say "Good night, Elias" in a voice that was not for a servant. Marco had enough. That night, Marco stood in Vincent's office. "It's the driver," he said, "the bodyguard." Vincent looked up. "Explain." She watches him like he's the only person in the room. He knows her schedule by heart. She goes to the garage at night to find him. I've seen it 5 times in 5 days. Vincent was silent. She doesn't look at Antonio DeLuca like that, Marco continued. She doesn't look at anyone like that. This is not a crush, father. He paused. This is something else. Vincent's fingers touched his wedding ring. Around and around. The wedding is in 5 weeks now, Vincent said. 5 weeks, Marco agreed. Then we remove the distraction. Marco nodded. And the driver? Not yet. First we separate them. Then we watch. Then we act. Marco left the office. Vincent sat alone. He looked at his wife's empty chair. I couldn't protect her, he thought. I will protect Serena. Even from herself. Especially from herself. The next morning, Elias was called to Vincent's office. He stood in front of the desk. He did not sit. He had never sat in this room. You have served us well, Vincent said. You will be reassigned to perimeter duty. Starting now. Elias's face did not change. I am her driver. Not anymore. May I ask why? No. A pause. The clock on the wall ticked. Understood, Elias said. He turned to leave. Elias, he stopped. Stay away from my daughter. Elias said nothing. He walked out. Serena walked to the garage that morning. The black SUV was there. Elias was not. A different driver stood by the car, older, gray hair, a smile that did not reach his eyes. Good morning, Miss Moretti. I'm your new driver. She stopped. Where is Elias? Reassigned. Perimeter duty. She did not say thank you. She walked back into the house, past the kitchen, past the foyer, past Marco, who watched her with a smile she wanted to tear off his face. She did not knock on her father's door. She opened it and walked in. Vincent looked up from his desk, calm, expecting her. You moved him. I reassigned him. He is still on the property. Why? You know why. I didn't do anything. You didn't have to. Your eyes did. She raised her voice. She had never raised her voice to her father, not once in 24 years. I am not a child. You cannot. Vincent stood. His voice went quiet. That was worse than shouting. You will marry Antonio De Luca in 5 weeks. He will leave. This is over. Do not speak of it again. She stared at him. Her hands were shaking. She wanted to say something that would wound him the way he had wounded her, but she had no words for that. She had never learned them. She turned, walked out. She did not close the door. She walked to her room, closed the door, locked it. Then she put her fist in her mouth and screamed into it. Silent. No one would hear. She took the blue dress out of the closet, the one her mother had bought. She held it. The fabric was soft, expensive, a coffin dressed in silk. She threw it on the floor. Then she picked up The Ocean Between Us, opened it to the page she had marked months ago. She had not known she was brave until there was no other choice. She read it 3 times. Then she put the book under her pillow. She did not cry. She was done crying. Elias was in the hallway. He had been walking to the garage to collect his things, his duffel bag, his spare keys, the small empty life he carried from job to job. He heard her scream, muffled through a closed door. But he heard it. Not a scream of fear, a scream of fight, of a voice finally breaking free of a cage. He had heard many things in his life: gunfire, screaming, silence after both. He had learned to feel nothing, but her raised, breaking, fighting sounded different. He stood in the hallway. His hand was on the wall. He did not know when he had put it there. That night, he sat in his apartment. He picked up his phone. He had her number. He had always had it, emergency contact. He had never used it. He almost called her. He put the phone down. The next day, he was on perimeter duty. He walked the grounds, checked the fence line, checked the cameras, did his job. Then he saw her through a window. She was sitting on a bench in the library, reading. The book in her hands was worn. He could not see the title, but he knew which one it was. He watched her for 30 seconds. She turned a page. She smiled at something she read. Small, private. He forced himself to walk away. 2 days later, he found a hairpin in his pocket. Small, silver. She had left it in the car months ago. He had meant to throw it away. He had forgotten. He held it in his palm. Then he threw it in the trash. He stood there for a moment. Then he took it out of the trash, put it back in his pocket. He sat in his car, hands on the wheel, not driving anywhere. I'm not this person, he thought. I do not keep things. I do not watch through windows. I do not feel guilt. But he did. 5 days after the reassignment, it rained again. Elias stood near the garage, perimeter duty. His post was at the east gate. He was not supposed to be near the garage, but he had walked this way. He told himself he was checking the fence. Serena was at a window on the 2nd floor, the library window. She saw him. She did not wave. She did not call out. She held up her book, The Ocean Between Us, pressed it against the glass so he could see the cover. He saw her. He saw the book. He did not wave back, but he did not look away. She held the book against the glass for 10 seconds. Then she lowered it, turned, walked away from the window. Elias stood in the rain. His clothes were wet. He did not move. I should leave this house, he thought. I should leave this city. I should forget her name. He did not move. 2 days later, Marco came to the garage. It was late. Elias was alone, checking the perimeter vehicle, telling himself it was work. He did not hear the footsteps until they were behind him. Evening driver. Marco's voice. Elias did not turn around. He kept his hands on the engine block. Marco nodded to someone behind Elias. 2 men, enforcers. They grabbed Elias from behind, 1 arm each, pinned him against the car. Elias could fight. He had training. He had killed men with his hands. He knew 3 ways to break a hold like this. He did not fight. Marco walked around the car. He was smiling. Not drunk, warmed. There is a difference. Drunk men are sloppy. Warm men are precise. You were told to stay away from her, Marco said. Elias said nothing. Marco hit him. First punch to the stomach. Elias doubled over. The men held him up. Second punch to the face. His lip split. Blood ran down his chin. Marco stood in front of him, still smiling. "She is not for you," Marco said. "She is not for anyone like you. Do you understand?" Elias spat blood on the concrete floor. Did not answer. Marco hit him again. Cheekbone. The pain was white, hot. Elias did not make a sound. "If I see you look at her again, I will take your eyes." Marco leaned close. His breath smelled like whiskey. "If I hear you speak to her again, I will take your tongue. And if you touch her—" He paused, smiled wider. "I will take everything else, slowly." Elias looked at him, blood in his teeth, bruise already forming on his cheek. He said nothing. Marco nodded. The men dropped Elias. He fell to the concrete floor. His ribs hit the edge of the tool chest. He did not cry out. Marco and his men left. The garage door closed. The light stayed on. Elias lay on the concrete. His face was bleeding. His ribs ached. He was not thinking about the pain. He was thinking about Marco's face, the certainty in it. "She is not for you." He is right, Elias thought. "She is not for me. I am nothing. I have nothing." He closed his eyes. He saw her face, the way she had held up the book against the window, the way she had said thank you like it cost her something. He got up slowly, walked to the sink, cleaned his face. The water ran pink. He did not go to the medical wing. He did not report the beating. He took it. That was the message. Take it or die. He was still at the sink when he heard the door open. He did not turn around. He knew her footsteps now. Serena. She had learned his schedule. She knew he checked the perimeter vehicles at this hour. She had been waiting in the kitchen, watching the clock until enough time had passed that she could pretend it was an accident. She saw him at the sink. His back was to her. His shirt was torn. Blood on his neck. Elias. He did not turn around. She walked to him, saw his face in the mirror above the sink. Split lip, bruised cheek, blood on his teeth. She touched his arm. He flinched. Then he did not pull away. She took a paper towel, wetted it, reached up, cleaned the blood from his lip. He let her. She did not ask who did it. She knew. "I'm sorry," she said. He said nothing. She finished cleaning his face. Her hand lingered on his jaw. He looked at her in the mirror. Their eyes met. "You should go back to your room," he said. "Not yet," she said. He said nothing, but he did not tell her again. The next night, Elias packed his duffel bag. His duffel was in the trunk of his personal car. The old sedan parked outside the garage. He would drive to his apartment, pack the rest of his things, and be gone before morning. He did not own much. Clothes, a knife, a passport, the hairpin, that was all. 20 years of adult life, and he could fit it into one bag. He had decided to leave, not because he wanted to, because staying would get him killed. And that would hurt her more than his absence. The garage door opened. She was there. She had been watching for him. She knew he came here before driving home. "You're leaving," she said. "Yes. Where will you go?" "Away." "Don't." He stopped packing, looked at her. "If I stay, they will kill me, and then they will marry you to him anyway. At least, if I leave, you won't have to watch me die." She stepped closer. "Run," she said. "Leave the city. I will find you. I don't care if you don't love me yet." He looked at her. "Don't wait for me," he said. "I'm not worth waiting for." "I'll wait anyway," she said. "That's my choice, not yours." He looked at her for a long moment. His face was bruised, his lips still swollen. He looked tired, older than 32. "I don't love you," he said. She did not flinch. "I know. I don't know how to love anyone. I don't know if I can." "I know that too." She stepped closer, close enough to touch. "But you will," she said. He said nothing. She reached into her pocket, took out the hairpin, now the silver one, the one he had kept, the one he had thrown away and taken back. She put it in his hand. "So you don't forget," she said. He looked at the hairpin, small, silver, hers. His hand closed around it. He did not look at her when he put it in his pocket. He picked up his duffel bag, walked to the door, stopped. He did not turn around. "Don't wait for me," he said. "I'll wait anyway," she said. He walked out. The door closed behind him. He got into his personal car, the old sedan. The engine turned over. He drove through the gates. The estate shrank in his rearview mirror. He did not look back, but his hand went to his pocket. He touched the hairpin. He drove through the night. He did not know where he was going. He only knew he could not stay. 10 weeks passed. The estate became a prison with better curtains. Serena was watched constantly. Marco smiled at her like he knew something she didn't. He probably did. He knew Elias was gone. He knew she was alone. He knew the wedding was coming. The wedding preparations continued. Dress fittings, menu tastings, guest lists. She attended them all in silence. She smiled when she was supposed to smile. She nodded when she was supposed to nod. She was a doll, a well-dressed doll with a pulse. She stopped reading romance novels. She could not bear them. The books under her mattress gathered dust. She did not move them. She did not look at them. She stopped laughing. The servants noticed. Marco noticed. Vincent noticed but said nothing. She wrote letters to Elias, dozens of them. She wrote them at night when the house was quiet. She wrote about the weather, about the wedding preparations, about the way the light came through her window in the morning. She never wrote, "I miss you." She never wrote, "I love you." But every letter was made of those words. She hid them under her mattress. She never sent them. She did not know where he was. She talked to him in her head, full conversations, out loud in her empty room. She imagined his answers. She imagined his voice, the low, quiet way he said her name. "Elias," she would say to the dark, "if you can hear me, I'm still here." Then she would wait. The dark would not answer. "I knew you wouldn't answer," she would say. "That's okay. I just needed to say it." She bought a second copy of The Ocean Between Us. She read it alongside her old copy, comparing pages, looking for the passages he might have read. She found the sentence she had marked. She had not known she was brave until there was no other choice. She underlined it. Then she underlined it in the second copy. She kept a calendar on her wall. She marked the days he had been gone. She crossed off each day before bed. The X's grew into a field of black. One night she stood at her window. The glass was cold. She whispered his name into it. Her breath fogged the glass. She traced a heart in the fog. Then she wiped it away. Meanwhile, Elias was in a different country, a gray city, cold. The sky was always the color of old concrete. He worked security at a warehouse, night shift. He checked ID badges, he watched cameras, he walked the perimeter, he did not speak unless necessary. The other guards learned not to talk to him. He rented a small apartment, one room, a bed, a chair, a window that looked at a brick wall. The brick wall was red. He counted the bricks one night, 347. He never counted them again. He ate the same meal every day. Rice, chicken, water, control. He had eaten the same meal for years. It was not about taste. It was about not wanting. He did not make friends. He did not call anyone. He was a ghost in a foreign country. Ghosts did not leave forwarding addresses. Month 1, he told himself he was glad to be gone. Freedom. No one to protect. No one to fail. He worked double shifts. He slept 4 hours a night. He did not think about her. He thought about her constantly. Month 2, he caught himself thinking about her while checking ID badges. He punished himself. Longer shifts. No sleep. He tried to burn the memory out. He ran until his lungs burned. He lifted until his arms shook. She was still there. He stopped running. Month 3, he bought a copy of The Ocean Between Us. He did not know why. He hid it in his drawer. He told himself he would throw it away. He did not throw it away. He read one page, then another, then another. He read the whole book. He read it twice. He found the sentence, the one that had made him close the book that first day in the car. He had not known he was lonely until he saw her standing in the rain. He closed the book, put it in the drawer, took it out, read it again. He dreamed of her. Not the field dream anymore. Different dreams. She was sitting in the back seat. She was asking him questions. In the dreams, he always answered. "Do you ever want to just keep driving?" "Yes," he said in the dream. Every day. He woke up. The brick wall was still there. She was not. He told himself he was free. Free men did not dream of women in back seats. Free men did not carry hairpins in their pockets. He was not free. He was just farther away. Then came the day with the laugh. Elias was walking home from work, head down, hands in his pockets, the hairpin in his right pocket. He touched it constantly now. The silver was worn smooth. He heard a laugh. It came from a woman standing outside a cafe. She was talking to a friend. Her back was to him. The laugh was bright, genuine, unself-conscious. It sounded like Serena. Elias stopped. He stood on the sidewalk. The rain fell on his head. His hair was wet. His jacket was wet. He did not notice. The woman turned. She was not Serena. Different face, different hair, different everything. But the laugh. For 1 second, The laugh was her. He stood there for a long time. The woman and her friend walked away. The cafe door closed. The street was empty. He walked home. He sat in his chair. The brick wall was outside his window. 347 bricks. The room was dark. He did not turn on the light. He took the hairpin out of his pocket, held it in his palm. He thought about what he was waiting for. Permission to hope. That's what it was. He had been waiting for permission to hope, waiting to stop being afraid of what he felt. He thought, I miss her. Not I should miss her. Not maybe I miss her. I miss her. He said it out loud. His voice was strange in the empty room. I miss her. He sat in the dark for an hour, maybe two. Then he picked up his phone. He had one number saved, Enzo's. Enzo had given it to him before he left. If you need to know if she's safe, he called. Enzo answered on the third ring. I've been waiting for this call. You knew where I was, Elias said. Of course I did. I handle the cameras, the passport records. Marco thinks it's boring. He doesn't know I've been tracking you for months. Elias was silent. Is she safe? He asked. For now. The wedding? 3 weeks. Less now. Elias closed his eyes. He could see her face, the way she had held up the book against the window, the way she had said, but you will. Is she? He stopped. He did not know how to ask. She's not eating, Enzo said. She's not laughing. She's not reading her books. She talks to you at night. She thinks I don't know. I watch the cameras. I see her at the window. A pause. She whispers your name. Elias's hand was shaking. He did not know why. He had held a gun steady under fire. He had driven through bullets without flinching. His hand was shaking. Don't tell her I called, he said. Why not? Because if I fail, I don't want her to know I tried. Enzo was silent for a moment. She wrote you letters, Enzo said. Dozens of them. Under her mattress. She never sent them. She didn't know where you were. Elias said nothing. His hand was still shaking. What are you going to do? Enzo asked. I don't know yet. Decide fast. The wedding is in 3 weeks. After that, she belongs to him. The line went dead. Elias stood in his small apartment, the brick wall, the chair, the bed, the window that looked at nothing. He had been waiting for permission to hope. He was done waiting. He took the hairpin, put it in his pocket. He took the ocean between us, put it in his bag. He packed clothes, his passport, the cash he had saved. He did not own anything else. He looked around the room. 347 bricks. He would not miss a single one. He walked out, did not look back. He stood at the bus station. It was night. The rain had stopped. The air was cold. He held a ticket. The destination, the city near the estate. 3 hours from her. 3 hours from everything. He boarded the bus, sat by the window. The bus pulled away. The gray city shrank behind him. He did not look back. He took the hairpin out of his pocket, held it in his palm. The silver was warm from his skin. I am going back. I do not know what I will find. I do not know if she will still want me, but I cannot stay away. He closed his hand around the hairpin. The bus drove into the dark. 3 days after Elias left the gray city, he stood in the hills outside the Moretti estate and watched the lights burn below. He had been watching for 2 hours. His body was tired. He had not slept properly in days. His ribs still ached from the beating. The bruise on his chest was still yellow and green, fading but not gone. His face had healed, but the scar on his cheek was new. He touched it sometimes without thinking. He had found a ridge in the tree line, a place Enzo had told him about months ago. The cameras don't reach that spot, if you ever need to watch without being seen. Enzo had been preparing for this longer than Elias knew. The estate glowed below, lights in every window. Not a party, just the usual cold brightness, the kind of light that showed everything and warmed nothing. He scanned the windows. Her bedroom was on the second floor, east wing. The light was on. He saw her silhouette past the window. She was thinner. He could tell even from here. Her shoulders were narrower. Her movements were slower. The girl who had laughed in the back seat, the real laugh, the one she had given him when he said it was in the way, that girl was fading. He could see it from 200 meters. She stopped at the window, looked out. He could not see her face, but he knew she was looking at the same dark hills where he was hiding. She did not see him, but she was looking. He had a plan. Wait. Observe. Find the right moment. The wedding was in 3 days. He had time. Then she turned away from the window. The light went out. He watched the dark rectangle where her face had been. Tonight, he decided. Not tomorrow. Not the night before the wedding. Tonight. He could not wait anymore. She was fading. Every day she faded more. If he waited, there might be nothing left to save. The estate grounds. 2 a.m. Elias knew the patrol schedule. Enzo had given it to him weeks ago, hidden in a single text message. Shift change at 2. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. That was all. He moved through the garden, past the fountain, dry for the winter, past the garage where he had bled on the concrete, past the hedges that had watched him drive her home 100 times. To the east wall. The wall was stone, old, uneven. Moss grew between the cracks. He had climbed worse. Prison walls in training exercises, cliffs in countries whose names he had forgotten. He did not think about falling. He thought about her face. His fingers found holds. His feet found edges. He moved slowly. One hand, one foot, one breath. The stone was cold. His knuckles scraped. He did not feel it. He reached the sill. Her window was dark. He tapped on the glass 3 times. Soft. He waited. She was awake. She had not been sleeping well. Enzo had told him that, too. She talks to you at night. She thinks no one hears. Another tap. He saw movement inside. A shape against the dark. The window opened. Her face. Pale. Thinner than he had seen from the ridge. Dark circles under her eyes. But her eyes. Her eyes were the same. You came back, she said. I said I would. You didn't say anything. I know. He was still on the sill. The wind was cold. He did not move to come in. He waited. Why are you here? She asked. He looked at her. The wind moved her hair. She was wearing a thin nightgown. She was shivering. Not from the cold. I don't know how to love, he said. His voice was low, shaking. He had never said anything like this before. He had never had to. He had spent 20 years making sure he never would. I don't know if I can. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. She said nothing. She waited. But I know I can't breathe without you. I've been trying for 3 months. He looked at her. His face was in shadow, but his eyes were not. I don't have a plan. I don't have money. I don't have anything. But I'm here, and I'm not leaving without you. She did not hesitate. She reached out, took his hand. Her fingers were cold. Her grip was strong. I've been waiting for you to say that for a year, she said. I'm sorry it took so long. You're here now. She pulled him through the window. He stumbled as he landed. His knees hit the floor. She caught him. They fell against the wall, her back against the plaster, his body against hers. He looked at her, really looked. Her face, her eyes, her mouth. Serena, he said. It was the first time he had said her name out loud in 3 months. It felt like breaking a seal. She kissed him. Not gently, not politely, desperately. The way someone kisses when they have been waiting for a year and thought they might die waiting. He froze for 1 second. Old habit, old fear. The wall he had built to keep everyone out. Then he kissed her back. His hands went to her face, her waist, her hair. He pulled her closer. He pulled her closer. She made a sound against his mouth, something between a laugh and a sob. When they broke apart, he was shaking. She was crying. I'm sorry, he said. I'm sorry I left. You came back, she said. That's all that matters. She touched his face. Her fingers traced the scar on his cheek, the one Marco had given him. Don't leave again, she said. I won't. They held each other. Not a polite embrace, the kind where you cannot get close enough. Her face pressed against his neck, his arms around her back, her heart against his chest. He had spent 20 years building walls. She had not broken them. She had simply stood on the other side and waited. And then one day he had decided to climb over. I'm ready, she whispered. For what? To go. She had been preparing. Enzo had given her a bag 3 days ago. Clothes, cash, a passport under a fake name. Don't open it until you need it, he had said. And don't thank me. Just go. She pulled it from under her bed. Changed quickly. Dark clothes, shoes that could run. She did not look at the blue dress in the closet. She did not look at the romance novels under her mattress. She did not look back. Elias went first, lowered himself from the sill, hung by his fingers, dropped to the ground. The impact sent a shock through his ribs. He ignored it. Come, he said. I'll catch you. She climbed onto the sill, looked down. The ground was far. Her hands were shaking. Don't think, he said. Just drop. She dropped. He caught her body against his, her heart against his chest. First time they had held each other like this. Not in fear, not in desperation, just in choice. He did not let go. Not yet. Okay, she whispered. Okay. They moved through the garden. The 7-minute window was closing. Elias knew the blind spots. Enzo had mapped them. Every shadow, every gap between camera sweeps. The gate. Enzo had disabled the sensor. It would not trigger for another hour. They were out. They were on the road. A car was waiting. An old sedan, common enough to be invisible. The keys were under the mat just where Enzo had said they would be. "Whose car is this?" she asked. "Enzo's," he said. "Borrowed." She did not ask from whom. She did not want to know. He started the engine. The car pulled away. The estate shrank in the mirror. Serena looked back. One last look. The lights of the house. The window she had never climbed out of until tonight. Then she faced forward. Elias drove fast. The highway was empty. The dark rushed past. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere they can't find us. Do you know where that is?" No, but we'll know when we get there." She almost laughed. Almost. Then she rested her head on his shoulder. Her hand found his, their fingers laced together. "Are you scared?" she asked. "Terrified." "Good. Me too." They drove in silence. The road was empty. The sky was still dark. Dawn, the border crossing. Enzo had provided fake papers, passports, a story. They were married. They were on their honeymoon. They had nothing to hide. Elias's hands were steady on the wheel. His heart was not. The guard was young, bored. He looked at the papers, looked at them, looked at Elias, looked at Serena. "Purpose of visit?" the guard asked. "Honeymoon," Elias said. The guard looked at Elias's hands. His knuckles were scraped from the climb. "What happened to your hands?" "Work," Elias said. His voice was flat, calm. The guard stared at him for a long moment. Then he looked at Serena. She was pale, tired, dark circles under her eyes. She looked like someone who had not slept in months. She smiled. The perfect daughter smile. The one she had learned at 14. The one that said, "Nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. I am exactly what you expect me to be." The guard stamped the papers, waved them through. Elias drove. The border gate closed behind them. The country behind them was not theirs anymore. Serena watched the border shrink in the mirror. Then she turned around, faced forward, did not look back again. Elias drove. The sun rose. The road stretched ahead. She reached over, put her hand on his. He did not pull away. His hand turned over, his fingers laced with hers. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For coming back." He said nothing, but he held her hand tighter. They drove in silence. The road was empty. The sky was pink. Back at the estate. Morning. Marco went to Serena's room to wake her for a wedding rehearsal. The door was open. The bed was empty. The window was open. He stood in the doorway. He did not yell. He went cold. That was worse. He checked first. He was not stupid. He walked to the window, looked outside. No rope, no ladder. Someone had climbed. Someone fit. Someone trained. He checked her closet. The blue dress was still there, but other clothes were missing. A bag was gone. She had packed. He knelt, looked under the bed. His hand touched paper, letters, dozens of them, all addressed to the same name, Elias, all unsent. He pulled one out, read it. "I told you I would find you. I don't know how yet, but Enzo will help. Wait for me, please. Wait for me." His face hardened. He left the room, walked to the security office, pulled the gate logs. The sensor had been disabled at 1:55 a.m. The access code used was not his, not Vincent's. It was Enzo's. He checked the camera feeds. Enzo had been visiting Serena's room at night 3 times, maybe more. He walked to Vincent's office, did not knock, entered. Vincent looked up from his desk. Coffee, newspaper, routine. "She's gone," Marco said. Vincent set down his coffee. "Explain." Marco laid it out. The open window, the missing clothes, the letters, the gate logs, Enzo's access code, the camera feeds. "She didn't struggle," Marco said. "The bed was made, the door was unlocked. She went willingly." Vincent was silent for a long time. His fingers touched his wedding ring, around and around, around and around. "The driver," Vincent said. "Gone," Marco said. "His apartment has been empty for months. The landlord says he left the country, no forwarding address." Vincent looked at the window. The morning light was thin, cold. "Enzo," Vincent said. Marco nodded. "The gate logs don't lie. His code, his access." "He designed the camera system," Vincent said quietly. "He knew the blind spots. He knew where to hide them." Marco's hands curled into fists. "I'll handle him." "No." Vincent's voice was quiet. "Not yet. First find them. Bring her back." "And him." Vincent stood. He walked to the window, looked out at the garden where his daughter used to walk. "Find him," Vincent said. "Kill him. Bring her back." Marco left. The door closed. Vincent sat alone. He poured whiskey. He did not drink. He looked at his wife's empty chair, longer than usual. Then he whispered to the ghost, "I'm trying to protect her. Why won't she let me?" The ghost did not answer. The sun rose over the estate. The wedding rehearsal would not happen. The blue dress hung in the closet. The romance novels stayed under the mattress. The calendar on the wall covered in black X's would not be marked again. Marco made calls. Men were dispatched. Roads were watched. Boarders were alerted. Too late. She was already gone. Enzo sat in his room. He did not go to breakfast. He did not answer his phone. He waited. He knew what was coming. He did not regret what he had done. And Elias and Serena drove away from the border. The sun was higher now. She was not asleep. She was watching the road. Her hand was in his. He drove with one hand on the wheel, one hand holding hers. The hairpin was in his pocket. The romance novel was in his bag. The road was long. "Where are we going?" she asked again. "I don't know," he said. He looked at her. He looked at her. The sun caught her face. She was tired. She was thin. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. "But we're going together," he said. She smiled. Not the perfect daughter smile. The real one. The one she had laughed with in the back seat. The one she had almost forgotten. He looked back at the road. The road was empty. He drove. 3 days after the border crossing, they found the small house. The coastal town was small. Forgotten. The kind of place where no one asked questions because no one cared about the answers. Fishermen who had been fishing since they were boys. Old women who hung laundry on lines strung between buildings. A bakery that smelled like bread at dawn. Elias had found the place through a contact from his military days, a man who owed him a favor. The rent was cheap. The landlord did not ask for papers. Serena stepped out of the car. The paint was peeling. The garden was overgrown. The roof had a patch that looked newer than the rest, which meant it had leaked before and would leak again. She looked at it for a long moment. "It's perfect," she said. He looked at her. She was not lying. The first night, she tried to cook rice. She had never cooked before. There had always been servants. The kitchen at the estate was a place where food appeared, not a place where food was made. She put the rice in a pot, added water, turned the heat too high. Then she walked away to find a spoon. When she came back, smoke was pouring out of the pot. The rice was black. The kitchen smelled like burning. She coughed. She cursed. She grabbed the pot with a towel and carried it to the sink. The smoke alarm did not go off because there was no smoke alarm. The landlord had not bothered. Elias stood in the doorway. She was wearing an apron that was too big. Her hair was falling out of a knot. There was rice stuck to her sleeve. She turned, saw him watching. "Don't," she said. I didn't say anything. "You're thinking it," he laughed. It was the first time she had heard him laugh. A real laugh. Not a huff of air, not a silent nod, a laugh that came from somewhere inside him that he had kept locked for a very long time. She stared at him. "You can laugh," she said. "Apparently." "Do it again." He shook his head, but he was almost smiling. She threw a grain of rice at him. It hit his chest. He picked it up, looked at it, then at her. "This is war," he said. He threw it back. It missed. She laughed, the real laugh, the one she had almost forgotten. They ate burned rice and canned beans. It was the best meal either of them had ever had. 2 weeks later, on a Tuesday, they got married. The town had a small civil registry office. Gray building, linoleum floors, a desk with a plastic plant that had dust on its leaves. She wore a white cotton dress she had bought at a second-hand shop. It was too big. She had pinned it herself. The pins left small bumps under the fabric. She did not care. He wore his only clean shirt. The collar was frayed. He had never looked better. No guests, no music, no flowers. The registrar was a woman with tired eyes. She asked if they had rings. They did not. Serena reached into her pocket, took out the hairpin, the silver one, the one she had given him before he left, the one he had carried across a border and back. She put it in his hand. "This is my ring," she said. He looked at it. Then he reached into his own pocket. He took out a piece of twine. Therese. He had brought it for no reason, or maybe every reason. He tied it around her finger. The twine was brown, cheap. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever worn. The registrar said the words. They said, "I do." They signed the paper. The registrar stamped it. They walked out. The sun was setting. The sky was orange. "We're married," he said. "We're married," she said. He took her hand. The twine was soft against his palm. They walked home. The road was quiet. The town was small. The world was large. 3 months passed. Winter came. The town was colder now. The sea was gray. They built a routine. Elias worked security at a warehouse outside town. Night shift, low pay, long hours. He checked ID badges. He watched cameras. He walked the perimeter in the cold. He came home tired. His boots were wet. His hands were cold. She was waiting. There was soup on the stove. The fire was lit. He sat at the table. She put a bowl in front of him. He ate. She watched. "You don't have to wait up," he said. "I know," she said. She waited up anyway. Serena worked at the bakery in town. Dawn shift. She had never baked anything in her life. The first week she burned 3 trays of bread. The second week she burned 2. The third week she burned 1. The owner was an old woman named Maria. She did not ask questions. She taught Serena how to knead dough, how to know when the bread was ready by the sound it made when she tapped the bottom, how to shape rolls that did not look like lumps. Serena came home smelling like flour and yeast. Her hands were cracked from the heat. "You don't have to work," he said. "I want to," she said. She wanted to. They were poor. The roof still leaked, the stove still leaned, the couch still sagged. They were happy. She read to him at night. The Ocean Between Us. She had read it 5 times. He had read it twice. When she read aloud, her voice was soft. He closed his eyes and listened. He built her a shelf for her books. The wood was cheap. The nails were crooked. One shelf was higher on one side than the other. She cried when she saw it. They made love for the first time. Not the first night. Not the second. They waited until it felt like something they both wanted, not something they needed to prove. When it happened, it was quiet. Gentle. Neither of them said a word. Neither of them needed to. She fell asleep on his chest. He stayed awake. His hand was in her hair. He listened to her breathe. Like, I could die tomorrow, he thought, and I would have had this. Then the threat began. Quietly. The way all terrible things begin. First sign. A stranger at the warehouse. A man in a dark jacket asking questions about the new security guard. Where did he come from? Did he have a wife? Elias heard about it from a coworker. He told himself it was nothing. Second sign. 3 days later, Serena saw the same man standing across the street from the bakery. He was not buying bread. He was watching. She told Elias. His face went tight. Third sign. Their landlord stopped by. Unusual. He never visited. He asked if they had any visitors lately. Someone had come to his house asking about the couple in the rental. Descriptions, no names. The landlord said he didn't know anything, but he was scared. Fourth sign, a dark car with tinted windows drove past their house, slowly. Once, then again an hour later. Elias watched from the window. He did not recognize the plates. But he recognized the driver's face. He had seen him before, at the estate, one of Marco's men. Elias sat at the kitchen table. His hands were flat on the wood. "We have to leave," he said. "How long do we have?" "Days, maybe less." She looked around the small house, the shelf he built, the bucket catching the leak, the twine on her finger, faded now, almost white. "I'm not ready to leave," she said. "I know." He took her hand. "But we will," he said. "Together." 3 days later, they were packing, clothes, cash, the romance novel, the hairpin. They planned to leave in the morning. They had waited too long. It was night. The small house was dark. Elias was in the bedroom. Serena was in the kitchen. The window was open. The night was cold. She heard it first. A soft scrape at the door. Someone testing the lock. She froze. Her hand went to the knife on the counter. Elias appeared in the bedroom doorway. His hand was raised. "Stay still." The lock clicked. The door opened. A man. Large. A gun in his hand. His face was covered. He saw Elias. Raised the gun moved. She did not think. Her hand found the knife. The blade was small. It was enough. She came from the side, silent, fast. The man did not see her until she was already there. She stabbed him in the neck. He dropped the gun. His hands went to his throat. Blood ran through his fingers. He fell. He did not get up. Serena stood over him. The knife was in her hand. Her hand was shaking. Her whole body was shaking. Elias reached her. He took the knife from her hand. He pulled her away from the body. He held her. Her face was white. Her eyes were wide. "I killed him," she said. "You saved my life. I killed him." He held her tighter. "You are not soft," he said. His voice was low. "Certain. You are the strongest person I know." She looked at him. Her eyes were wet. She was not crying. She was something else entirely. "We have to go," she said. "Now." "I know." They left the body. They left the house. They left the shelf he built. They left the bucket catching the leak. They drove. The town shrank in the mirror. She did not look back. An hour later, Elias pulled over. The road was empty. The night was dark. He turned off the engine. He looked at her. She was staring at her hands. There was no blood. She had scrubbed them clean at the gas station, but she still saw it. "Come here," he said. She didn't move. He reached over, pulled her toward him. She fell against his chest. He held her. She cried. Not the silent crying she had learned in her father's house, the loud kind. The kind that shook her whole body, the kind she had never let herself do in front of anyone. He did not speak. He just held her. After a long time, she stopped. "I didn't know I could do that," she said. "Neither did I." She looked at her hands again. "It doesn't go away," he said. "The images. They get quieter. But they don't go away." She nodded. She remembered him saying that before, after the attack on the highway, when she had asked if the fear ever goes away. "Does it get easier?" she asked. "No, but you get stronger." She looked at him. His face was calm. She knew he was not calm. He had learned to hide it. She put her hand on his. The twine was still on her finger, stained now. He started the car. They drove. 3 months later, they found a new town. Inland. A city. Not too big. Not too small. The kind of place that minded its own business because it had enough of its own. Elias found a job. Corporate security. Legitimate. A company that shipped goods across the country. They needed a man with his skills. They did not ask where he learned them. The pay was good, better than good. He came home with a paycheck that made her eyes widen. They rented a small house, not the leaky one. This one had a garden, a real garden, soil, sun, a fence that did not fall over. Elias was good at his job, quiet, observant. He did not make friends. He did not need to. His boss noticed. Promotions came, first a raise, then a title, then an office. He bought a car, not new, but reliable. It did not break down on the highway. He bought her a ring. A real ring, silver, small. She cried when he gave it to her. "You didn't have to," she said. "I wanted to," he said. She took off the twine, put it in a box. She would keep it forever. Serena planted roses, red ones. She had never grown anything before. At the estate, the gardens were maintained by people she never saw. She had never put her hands in soil. The first year, the roses died. She almost gave up. Then she read a book about gardening. She tried again. The second year, they bloomed. He built her a bench, not crooked this time, straight, sturdy. He had learned from the first one. She sat on the bench in the morning before work, coffee in her hand, watching the roses. He watched her from the kitchen window. He did not tell her. He just watched. She worked at a bookstore. She brought home novels. She read them in bed. He fell asleep to the sound of her turning pages. He still ate the same meal, rice, chicken, water. But sometimes she made him try new things. Sometimes he liked them. She laughed more now. The real laugh. It came easier. He smiled, not often, but when he did, she stopped whatever she was doing and watched. "You should do that more," she said. "Do what?" "Smile." He looked at her. He smiled again. She kissed him. This was their life. Small, quiet, theirs. Then the letter arrived on a Tuesday. It was addressed to Serena. The handwriting was old, formal, unmistakable, gray, Vincent Moretti's hand. Elias came home from work. Serena was sitting at the kitchen table. The letter was in front of her, unopened. "What is it?" he asked. "It's from him." He did not need to ask who. "How did he find us?" She shook her head. "I don't know, but he found us." Vincent Moretti had resources. He had people everywhere. A bank transaction, a passport check, a phone call traced. He was the most powerful criminal in the country. Of course he had found them. The letter was proof that no matter how far they ran, he could reach them. He sat across from her. They looked at the envelope. The paper was thick, expensive. A world they had left behind. "Open it," he said. She opened it. She read the letter aloud. Her voice was flat at first. Then it broke. "Serena, Enzo is dead. Marco is gone. The house is empty. I am old. I am tired. I have nothing left but the ghost of your mother and the memory of your laugh. I do not ask for forgiveness. I do not expect it. But I am your father. You are my daughter, and there is no one else. Come home. V. Moretti." She set the letter down. Her hands were shaking. "Enzo is dead," she said. Then she cried. Not the way she had cried after killing the man in the small house. This was different. This was grief, pure and old and heavy. Enzo had helped them. Enzo had given her the bag, the papers, the car. Enzo had been the only brother who saw her, the chocolate in the hallway. The squeeze of her fingers. I watched her die. My mother. I did nothing. I won't watch you die, too. He was gone. Elias said nothing. He put his hand on the table. She took it. After a long time, she spoke. We don't have to go, he said. I know. She looked at the letter, then at him, then at the garden where the roses were blooming red. But I have to see his grave, she said. I have to look at my father. I have to tell him. She stopped. Tell him what? Elias asked. That I won, that I'm happy, that he couldn't break me. Elias was silent, then he nodded. I'm not afraid of him anymore, he said. I was once. I'm not now. She looked at him. If we go, he said, we go together. We face him together. And if he tries anything, he won't, she said. How do you know? She picked up the letter. Read the line again. I have nothing left but the ghost of your mother. Because he's alone, she said, and he knows it. She folded the letter, put it in her pocket. Not yet, she said. Then when? When I'm ready. He nodded. He put his hand on the table. She put hers on top of his. The letter was in her pocket. The roses were red. The bench was in the garden. They waited. 1 week later, she was ready. That night, she sat at the table. He sat across from her. I'm scared, she said. I know, he said. Not of him, of losing you. He crossed the room. He took her hands. You won't, he said. You don't know that. He was silent for a moment. Then he reached into his pocket. He took out the hairpin, the silver one, the one she had given him before he left the first time. He had carried it every day, across borders, through gunfire, through 3 months in a gray city counting bricks on a wall, through all of it. He put it in her hand. I've had this for over a year, he said. I've slept with it in my pocket. I've crossed borders with it. I've killed a man with it in my pocket. She looked at it, small. Silver, worn smooth from his hands. Wherever you go, I go, he said. Whatever happens, I'm there. Not because I have to be. He looked at her. Because I want to be. She closed her hand around the hairpin. I love you, she said. He smiled. A real smile. I know, he said. She hit his chest. Say it back, he laughed. I love you too. She looked at him, then at the letter on the table. We have to go, she said. Then we go, he said. It could be a trap. It could be. You could die. He looked at her. His face was calm. I could die here too, he said. Marco's men found us once. They'll find us again. She took his hand. The silver ring caught the light. Then we go, she said. Together. Together, he said. 3 days later, they drove through the gates of the Moretti estate. The gates were the same. The iron was the same, but the guards were fewer. The place looked tired. The gardens were less manicured. The fountain was dry. Serena sat in the passenger seat. Elias was driving. The roles were reversed from the very beginning, from that first day, that first question. She looked at the estate. It was smaller than she remembered. Or maybe she was larger. She thought about the girl who had sat in the back seat and asked the silent man if he ever wanted to keep driving. That girl had been afraid of everything. That girl had touched her wrist when she was nervous. That girl had hidden romance novels under her mattress and cried silently with her mouth closed so no one would hear. She was not that girl anymore, not even close. Elias's hands were steady on the wheel. His eyes scanned the grounds. Old habits. You're checking for threats, she said. Old habits, he said. Do you see any? No, he paused. That's what worries me. The car stopped in front of the main entrance. The front door opened. Vincent stood in the doorway. So he was older, thinner. His hair was completely gray now. He looked like a man who had not slept in a year. He did not come down the steps. He waited. Serena got out of the car. Elias stayed behind the wheel for a moment. Then he got out. He stood behind her. Not beside her. Behind her. Protecting her back. Serena walked toward Vincent. She stopped a few feet away. Father and daughter, a year of silence, a lifetime of wounds. Vincent spoke first. His voice was quiet, not cold, just tired. The house has been quiet, he said. I know, she said. Your room is the same. I'm not staying. He nodded. He looked at Elias. Elias met his eyes. Neither of them spoke. Vincent turned, walked back into the house. He did not invite them in. He did not close the door. Later that day, Vincent asked Elias to walk with him. Serena was in the house looking at her old room, the pink walls, the window she had climbed out of, the mattress where the romance novels used to be. Someone had taken them. She did not ask who. The garden was overgrown, the roses were dead, the fountain was dry. Vincent and Elias walked in silence for a minute. Then Vincent stopped. I tried to kill you, Vincent said. I know, Elias said. More than once. I know that too. Vincent looked at him. Really looked. The way men look at each other when there is no performance left to give. Would you have killed me? Vincent asked. If she had asked, Elias did not hesitate. If she asked me to, he said. Yes. Vincent was silent for a long time, then he nodded. Good, he said. Good? Elias asked. She needs someone who would. I couldn't protect her. Vincent looked at the dead roses. I thought I could, but I was protecting myself, my empire, my name. He began to walk again. Elias walked beside him. After you left, Vincent said, the DeLucas came for answers. I had none to give. The alliance broke. They turned to our rivals. Elias said nothing. Marco tried to fix it. He made it worse. Started a war he couldn't finish. Vincent's voice was flat, empty. The rivals came for us. They didn't know about Enzo. They didn't know he helped you. They killed him because of his name. They stopped at the edge of the dry fountain. Marco ran, Vincent said. I don't know where. I don't care. Elias looked at him. The old man's face was stone, but his eyes were not. The empire is gone, Vincent said. The reputation is ash. There is nothing left but this house and the ghost of your mother. A long silence. I don't expect you to forgive me, Vincent said. I don't, Elias said. Vincent almost smiled. Almost. That's fair, he said. He walked away. Elias watched him go. The garden was quiet. The fountain was dry. The family cemetery was on the hill behind the estate. Serena's mother was buried there. Now Enzo was too. The grave was new. The stone was simple. Enzo Moretti, beloved son, 1997 to 2025. Serena knelt. Elias knelt beside her. She touched the stone. Her fingers traced his name. He gave me chocolate, she said. Fuck, when I was a child, when no one else saw me. I know, Elias said. He gave me the bag, the papers, the car. He knew he would get caught. He did it anyway. I know. I never thanked him. He knew. She was silent for a long time. The wind moved the trees. The sky was gray. She whispered to the stone. You did enough, she said. You did more than enough. Elias put his hand on her shoulder. He said nothing. He didn't need to. Later, Serena walked to her father's office. She stood outside the door for a full minute. Elias was behind her. He didn't speak. She turned to him. He nodded. She walked in. Vincent was sitting in his chair. The empty chair was still there. His wife's chair. He had not moved it in 13 years. Serena stood in the doorway. I don't forgive you, she said. I know, he said. But I don't hate you anymore. That took too much energy. Vincent looked at her. His eyes were tired, old, hollowed out by a year of silence and an empty house. What do you feel? He asked. Tired, sad, and something else. What? Free. He nodded. He picked up a framed photo from his desk. Serena as a child, 7 years old, before her mother died, before he became a wall. He looked at it, then he set it down. Your mother would have liked him, he said. Elias? Yes, I know, she said. She turned, walked away. She did not close the door. Evening. The garage, the same black SUV was there, clean, polished, unused. Serena walked in. Elias was already there. He was looking at the car, the way he had looked at it 1,000 times. Do you remember the first time I asked you a question? She said. You asked if it was going to rain, he said. You didn't answer. I didn't know how to talk to you. You didn't know how to talk to anyone. He almost smiled. I still don't, he said. She smiled. Do you regret it? She asked. Regret what? Me. Us. The exile, the running, the man you had to become. He was silent for a moment. Then he stepped closer. He touched her face. Openly. Not hiding. Not checking the door. Just touching her. I regret every day I didn't love you sooner, he said. She leaned into his hand, closed her eyes. You love me now, she said. Yes. Say it. I love you. She opened her eyes. She was smiling, the real smile. I love you too, she said. He kissed her. Not desperate like the first time. Gentle. Certain. They stood in the garage. The car was behind them. The door was open. The night was cold. That night, 2 parallel images. Vincent, alone. He sat in his office. The fire was dying. The whiskey was untouched. The empty chair was beside him. He looked at the door. He was waiting. For what? For Serena to say goodnight. She used to when she was a child, before her mother died, before he became a wall. She did not come. He sat in the silence. Then his face broke, just for a moment. One tear. He wiped it. He looked at the empty chair. He stayed sitting. The fire went out. The room went dark. He did not move. Elias and Serena, in the garden. They walked through the garden. The moon was high. The fountain was still dry. The roses were dead. But they were walking, together. He held her hand. He did not let go. She looked at the house. The lights were on in her father's office. She did not go back. She looked at Elias. He was watching her. "What are you thinking?" she asked. "I'm thinking about the first time I saw you," he said. "You were standing in the foyer. You looked so small." "I was small," she said. "You're not small anymore." She stopped walking. She looked at the house one more time. "I'm not afraid of it anymore," she said. "Good," he said. She took his hand. They walked toward the gate. The car was waiting. The road was dark. She stopped at the gate. She looked back at the house one last time. "Do you think he'll be okay?" she asked. "I don't know," he said. "I don't want him to die alone. Then we visit. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday." She looked at him. "You would come back?" she asked. "I would follow you anywhere," he said. "Even here." She took his hand. They walked through the gate. The road stretched ahead. Dark. Long. Open. She looked up at him. "The first time I asked you a question," she said. "You didn't answer." "I'm answering now," he said. She stopped. She looked at him. The moon was high. The garden was dead behind them, but she was alive, more alive than she had ever been inside those walls. She smiled. "Do you ever want to just keep driving?" she asked. He looked at her, and he smiled. The real smile. The one that came from somewhere he had kept locked for 20 years, the one she had unlocked without even trying. "Every day," he said. He took her hand. "As long as you're in the car." They walked through the gate. The car was waiting. The road was dark. They did not look back.